comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I started this book about 9 months ago, a Glastonbury romance. Is that how you say Glastonbury, or is it Glastonbury? I'm going to Glastonbury to play some badminton. Someone sent me a message the other day saying that's not how you pronounce badminton, it's badminton. And it's like, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck how you pronounce badminton, you shuttlecock? It's pronounced however my retarded fucking education allows it to come out. Badminton, hostel, actually, who cares? I'm lucky I can pronounce fucking anything with how much I listened in school and all the brain damage I've got. But anyway, I've been reading this book, A Glastonbury Romance, by John Cowper Powys. And I started it like 9 months ago. I read about 150, 200 pages. And it was beautifully written, but it was fucking boring. Jesus Christ, it was a struggle to get through those 200 pages. Fuck, the people who were living in the Welsh countryside back in the 1970s were fucking boring. They were doing a lot of fucking though, I have to admit. That was kind of interesting. Everyone was fucking everyone in this story. So I read like the first 200 pages and I'm like, I'm just putting it down for a minute. I'm just going to put it down for a couple of days and then I'll get straight back to it. Anyway, it took me 8 months to get back to this boring fucking book because it's a huge book too. It's 1,100 pages and the first 200 pages were just like a fucking nightmare. But it was recommended by Henry Miller, who's my favorite writer. So I'm like, fuck it, just get back to it. Just push through another 900 pages. If Henry Miller says it's good, it's got to be good. So about 2 weeks ago, I started it back up again and oh my God, it has been a slog. I'm like, it's nice writing. It's beautiful writing. I don't think I've ever read anyone who has better command of English than this John Cowper Powys guy. But fuck me, it was a slog. It took 450 pages. I'm going to say 500 pages. It took 500 pages for it to start getting good. Like really good. Like, I mean, it's really fucking good now. The last 5 pages I just read before this is probably the most scintillating writing I've read in God knows how long. It is fucking magic. But it took a whole fucking book. 500 pages is a substantial sized book. It's taken a whole book for the book to really start. It's now developing into one of the best books I've ever read, but I would never recommend this book to anyone. So I'm like 650 pages into it. The last fucking 150 pages have been like magical. So I'm over halfway the book, and to be honest with you, I still have no fucking idea what the book's about. There's a lot of fucking in it. Cousins are fucking, wives are cheating, husbands are cheating, maids are getting pregnant to rich dudes. It's all over the shop with the fucking, but it's getting into all the like Stonehenge and Merlin and King Arthur and fucking Jesus and the occult and the Freemasons. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I thought Merlin was just a fucking character. The way he's talking about Merlin in this book is like he was actually real. Was he real? Was King Arthur real as well? I don't even know. Was Sir Lancelot real? But it's funny because in this book, the mayor of Glastonbury is organising this big festival in some field. It's like a religious thing where they have acts and singing and dancing there in Glastonbury, which fast forward like 60 years later, same thing happening in Glastonbury now, except everyone's off their fucking chops. I feel like once I finish reading this book, it's going to be an achievement. I will have achieved something by finishing this fucking book because the first 500 pages, the writer is basically going, fucking stop reading. But anyway, I do not recommend reading that book, A Glastonbury Romance. But if you do, just know it's going to take you 500 pages for the good parts. But the good parts are unbelievable at the moment. I might even read the last 5 pages and chuck it up on Patreon. But it might not make any sense without the previous 495 pages. So I'll reread it and see how it goes. Anyway, let's move on. It's Monday. It is Ask Boyle time, and I've got a fucking treat for you today. One of the listeners was sober for 2 weeks and must have been going insane. So he decided to put together a little fucking jingle for Ask Boyle. So here it is.
Send me a story, drop me a line, ask me a question, I will try to ease your mind, 'cause it's Ask Boyle time. Ask Boyle.
You can hear the Beatles influence in there, can't you? Thanks for sending that in, Mitch. Appreciate it. So if you would like to send in an Ask Boyle, just ask me any fucking question. I pretty much know everything there is to know. I've read 650 pages of Glastonbury Romance, so I pretty much know it all now. But if you'd like to ask me a question about any topic, send it in to my social media. I'm Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or email me on boylecomedy@gmail.com, or if you're a subscriber to the Patreon, just message me on the Patreon. Anyway, this week's Ask Boyle was sent in by Brad in the UK. In the UK. Brad has sent in a very straight down the line question. He asks, how do you tackle quitting drink when your entire social circle revolves around just that? Thanks for your question, Brad. You've come to the right place. The question you really want to be asking yourself, Brad, is how many people in your social circle do you actually want to be friends with? How many people in your social circle are surplus to requirement? And if you're like, no, I love everyone in my social circle, then you've got a drinking problem, that's for fucking sure. Go out for one night with everyone in your social circle without drinking, and then come back to me and see how many you're fucking friends with. If you go out with your friends 2 fucking nights sober, you've cut that list down by 70%. There's 30% left. When you're a drinker, you don't have friends, you have drinking buddies. Drinking buddies are completely different from friends. Drinking buddies will be there when you need a drink, no matter what. Rain, hail, or shine. They will never miss a drink. But if there's ever a real crisis, do not depend on your drinking buddies, because they're going to go missing fucking real quick. They'll go missing because they've got some drinking to do. They can't get swept up in your drama and bullshit. They've got drinking to do. Drinking buddies are just the losers you got left with while everyone else moved on with their life. So go out with your fucking circle of friends a couple of nights while you're sober, and you'll realize you don't even like 70% of these people. So you're down to the 30%. With the leftover, you might not be 100% sure who your real friends are there. So all you need to do, it's a natural process. As you become sober and stay sober, the longer you become sober, the people that weren't really your friends, the people that you got along with, but drinking was sort of the main vibe you had together, they will just naturally fall off. Because the glue, which is the booze, that was holding those friendships together is now removed. So they will float off, and then you're probably left with about 3 people. Welcome to your new social circle. 3 people is more than enough. 3 people is probably too much, to be honest with you. As you get a little bit older, you're probably going to have to get that down to 2. Because as you get sober, you have to fill your life with more positive things anyway. So you become busy. You naturally get busier and busier. So it's harder and harder to fit people in. And trust me on this part. When you see your old social circle 2 years down the road doing exactly the same things as you used to be doing with no progress or no movement whatsoever, you're not going to be like, fuck, I missed out on some good times with the boys. You've had your good times with the boys. So it's all pretty much a natural process of being sober. You don't have to do a lot. When you're sober, there's going to be people that you just know 100% that you can't be friends with because you hate them. Then there's going to be a bunch of people that naturally just fall off, stop inviting you to things, stop asking you to come places. Like, that's just a natural part of it. And then you're left with a nice small little core group of friends. That's your new fucking base. How many do you need? That'll do. Be happy with 2 or 3 good friends. That's it. Anyway, thanks for your question, Brad. I hope it helps. That will do for tonight. If you're enjoying the podcast, share it around with your friends, and I'll see you the fuck later.